Hello and welcome back to Open, everyone. We're always inviting you to get social with us. That's right. Tweet us at BronxNet TV and tweet me too at Rhina Valentin. So, we are actually going to skip this segment and we're going to move along into the Pregones segment. Yeah. So let me just move that along because that person is a little behind. So, okay, so here we have theater of war, right? It's a unique form of theater which enhances the audience's experience with a discussion on powerful issues that impact society. And on May 6th, they will present scenes from Sophocles' AJAX. And here now to share more, we welcome the artistic director of Theater of War Productions, Brian Doris, and the actor who will be playing the role of AJAX, Bronx Walk of Famer, David Zayas. I had to throw that in there.
Okay.
Well, of course,
No,
we have to acknowledge that. That
okay.
was
good.
a great honor, and the fact that you
honor, yeah.
and the fact that you still live in the Bronx
Yeah,
and in all your endeavors, you kept it
I'm
real.
from the Bronx. I'm a Bronx man. That's it.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I love it. Welcome. I'm so
Thank you.
excited to have you here on set.
I'm excited to be here.
And sorry for that. We had to switch around some segments, but here we are, and we're going to talk about Theater of War, and we're also going to talk about the impact that it will serve within our community and during these trying times.
Yeah.
So before we talk about AJAX, let's talk a little bit about your choice in I guess, working with Greek philosophy.
Yeah, so I was a nerd in college. I studied Greek and Latin, and everyone told me that no one would ever be interested in those things, and I would never make a living with those ancient languages. But I got this hunch that if we could just simply take these ancient plays that describe universal themes like loss and love and betrayal and sacrifice, and now what things like mental illness and things that are all too familiar to us now, 2,500 years later, if we could just simply put these plays in front of audiences who'd lived these experiences, audiences with skin in the game, that something powerful would happen. And so for the last 10 years, we've been traveling the country and the world, performing on military bases, prisons, hospitals, clinics, you name it. And we learn things from our audiences every time that help us refine how we present these ancient plays.
Yeah, I love the fact that it's interactive, which we're going to talk about a
Sure.
little bit later, but I'm curious to know what, I guess, inspired you or enrolled you to take on this role.
Well, when I was asked to do it, and then I read, AJAX, I was like, wow. The one thing about art is that art opens the eyes of many people who won't have that opportunity to see certain things having to do with their lives, having to do with things like PTSD, things like dealing with abuse, different things. Art is always a window for somebody who don't usually have that opportunity to open the window and see a form of art, whether it's a play, a film, anything, and that they can then understand their feelings and understand what's going on. And I think this is a great opportunity. It's a great place to do that, and I'm so happy they're doing it in the Bronx and in this venue because it's going to open up, enlighten a lot of Bronxites that are going to come and see it. And it's a great opportunity for me to include myself in that.
Oh, we love that you have just taken a little break for a minute, just for a second from the big screen and bringing it back home and being up close and personal, because from what I understand, it is interactive, which I also find very fascinating. So how does it work? There's a presentation that happens, and then the questions are asked from the audience. Are they enacted, or are they reenacted, or
Sure.
Is there a Q&A, or how is that presented?
Yes, so David and two company members from Pregones are going to perform two scenes from this ancient play by Sophocles called AJAX, a play about the suicide of a great respected warrior, and from the Trojan War. And then as soon as they're done with the scenes, we bring up four members of the community from the Bronx, not experts, not academics, not people on book tour, but ordinary people who've lived through the experience of war or many things that are described in the play. And they respond from their guts and their hearts just for a few minutes to the plays. And then we go out in the audience after they've started the conversation and we ask the audience questions. And the discussion that happens in the audience lasts longer than the performance. The discussion is the objective. And when people stand up and share their stories, it always transcends the beauty, the power of what's happened on stage. People who've never heard of these plays say more powerful things than what the actors deliver to them.
So when you present this, is it presented in that language or that style of language, or is it urbanized?
It's a great question. We rely upon great performers like David to make it feel direct and real. And these are my translations, which I've written with these particular audiences in mind, with the hope that they'll be direct. There's no reason for it to be pretentious or highfalutin.
Yeah, the one thing about it, whether it was 2,500 years ago, whether it was Shakespeare or Sophocles, it relates to what's happening now, and that's the beauty of what we do. Everything that happened 2,000 years ago, if there was a play that happened 2,000 years ago, somehow it relates to what's going on today, because history consistently repeats itself. And to have an outlet to understand that is really interesting and so important.
So this AJAX, right? Is this particular character suffering from PTSD, or is it geared more towards mental issues?
Well, I if you don't mind,
please.
No. From reading it, because I was very excited. I read it like 2 or 3 times, and I read the whole thing actually. Went back and read different versions of it. Back in the Greek wars, I believe they were at war for like almost 80, 90 years, right? Consistently. And sometimes when, what I found interesting about this character is this guy he is the leader. He is the head honcho of that country and of that, and that war, general in that war. And for him to break down, and when you see it, to break down in that manner, and then his reaction towards it it's so important to translating it to today. Someone who's been at war for 10 years, someone who's been in many tours in Iraq or Afghanistan that come back and then now have to deal with society, but they're dealing it in a certain way. And sometimes it's just not, war isn't normal.
Right, yeah, I feel you. I already got it. It's the transitioning back to reality of what is the new reality, because that it becomes their reality. And then at what point do you figure out what is your reality? It could get really
And in much smaller form, relating to someone who maybe grew up in an impoverished neighborhood who has to deal with confrontation in a different way and how they're going to approach that.
Yeah, so in the end, it's really about accepting oneself and working through whatever obstacles present themselves.
Yeah,
I got it. It sounds it sounds like a really fascinating event. I love the interactive component to it, and they're kind of wrapping us up. But I'm really curious to know, before we go, how you plan on easing somebody who's not well versed in acting to improvise.
Oh, you mean the audience itself?
Yes.
Yeah, no, they don't need any coaxing. What happens is that people who've never heard of these plays hear their own stories reflected in the play, and then they get up and they say the most beautiful, the most powerful things that were written inside them that they've never said, let alone in private, in a public setting. And it makes our job feel so much more significant than I think we normally feel, like it's of service, like we're actually moving the needle in some way and helping people, and that's the goal. That's the goal.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Brian.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
David,
Thank you.
Thank you for taking the initiative to heal our community, because that's what you're setting out to do in an artistic form, which we love. I love. Thank you. All right, you guys, once again, Theater of War's production of Sophocles. I said Sophocles earlier, but it's Sophocles. AJAX will be presented Saturday, May 6th at 7 p.m. at Bregones Theater, which is located on 575 Walton Avenue in the Bronx. And for more information, visit bregonesprt.org. Okay, we are taking a quick break, but don't go anywhere. There's more Open coming up next.